27 minutes past the hour this morning on Wncr-Tv Now as we talk about things impacting our state, our city, and our nation. Do hope we had a fantastic yesterday. I know it was a rainy yesterday. Well, it was a rainy Sunday, I think it was. One of those days. It was real, that flash flood went somewhere everywhere and then came back and thundering yesterday as well in certain areas. And so we see these weather events is what I would call them, these weather events. Looks like we're on Facebook Live. We're on YouTube Live as well. So good morning to each and every one of you. Thank you so much for tuning in to Wncr-Tv Now as we talk about things impacting our state, our city, and our nation. It is 28 minutes past 8 o'clock hour this morning on this Tuesday. Again, I hope you had a fantastic yesterday. Hope you did. Hope I really do when I say that. It's not just to be saying something, but I actually hope you had a fantastic yesterday. I'm trying to get to this phone thing. There we go. And share this Facebook Live video. You too can do the same. And no matter what time of the day, you ain't got to do it while we live. The share button works all throughout the day, okay? Good morning. And so you can share the Facebook Live video any time of the day that you see this video. You say, you know what? I'm going to share it. I'm going to share it. And I'll be so grateful that you did. Yesterday, Nash County Commissioners voted. They adopted the budget for the next fiscal year. But right before that, they had a robust conversation. As a matter of fact, the meeting was about 2 hours and 14 minutes collectively, but all that was not spent on the budget. So let's be sure we frame that correctly. It was not spent directly on the budget. It was spent on a number of things. But one of the things that they've been talking about, or at least asking about, is what to do with these bus drivers in the Nash County public school system, and perhaps showing some type of level of appreciation and value to them locally. From Commissioner Gwen Wilkins, she had a couple different things. One was Castle Azul, who is a Wilson-based nonprofit that she was wanting the county commissioners to take off and not fund. And so let's play some of this video from her comments on yesterday.
Questions or comments for staff? Commissioner Wilkins.
Mr. Chairman, I ask the board to bear with me. At our past meetings this month, this board took a consensus vote on items of concern to individuals on this board. That consensus vote was to see where we stood and to hopefully change minds of members on this board. Although little was changed, if anything, I am prepared to make 2 motions today after completing my 4 thoughts, simply because taking a census is not an official vote. And I want it noted that we took an official vote on the 2 items that concern me the most. On June 9th, the county manager and deputy county manager met with Superintendent Steve Ellis and staff to discuss questions from this board of commissioners. In regard to classified employees and their salaries, it was stated that they are funded across many funding sources. In other words, state, local, federal, child nutrition, and donations and grant funding. According to what was told to our staff, there are 759 permanent classified employees, although that number may fluctuate. When the superintendent was asked his thoughts on county commissioners providing a bonus to classified employees with the school system, it was told to us in an email that they, the Nash County Public Schools, would be grateful for the $500 bonus for each classified employee, but would recommend a greater amount if this is going to be a one-time bonus, as the state gives a new recurring supplement to the certified staff that equates to over $2,000 annually. My thoughts are, and considering the superintendent's suggestion for a greater amount, and to satisfy those on this board that do not want to come to a decision until after the state legislature votes on a state budget, I say to you, this board has the authority to vote to give them a bonus now, regardless of what the state does, and to deny the classified workers a bonus of $500 that would only cost this county about $379,500 is a small price to pay to show them the respect and appreciation they deserve. It was said in a previous meeting, the board can go back and do a budget amendment even after the budget is approved and allocate a bonus or even a second bonus more than the $500. I am prepared to propose at this time. The time is now. Information has been brought to us about what bus drivers in other counties make. No one sitting up here can live off what these bus drivers or classified workers in Nash County make an hour. Furthermore, when schools are closed for inclement weather or whatever, many are not getting paid for the hours lost. This county would suffer greatly if we were to lose even more classified workers because this board failed to recognize their worth and their importance. And with that said, Mr. Chairman, and for the record, that this is not a consensus vote, I make a motion to add an amount equal to $500 per classified employee of Nash County Public Schools to the Nash County annual budget to be allocated to Nash County Public Schools for the specific purpose and function of the bonus, which shall be allocated per North Carolina General Statute 115C-4, I believe it's 29, is smeared. And I believe our attorney can quote that statute if it's needed. And I don't know how you want to do this, Mr. Chairman. That is my first motion that I ask. I have one more. Would you like me to continue?
Hold right there. Ask the attorney, I've got a motion from the commissioner. I don't see anything I can do other than call for a second.
That's correct.
All right, everybody's heard the motion from Commissioner Wilkins, and we'll call for discussion if we get a second. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Belfield. Open it up for discussion. Any commissioner have any comments? Commissioner Howell.
I'm in support of giving a bonus here if the state is not going to give them a supplement or an increase in that. And that's what I understand in speaking with the staff here for the county, that our manager went back and had a meeting, and they indicated that the recommendation of the school board was to wait until the state budget passed, and then we would come back and revisit this topic. Because I'd hate to give them $500 and it not be enough where we may need to do $1,000. I mean, I don't know until we know what the state does. So that's my concern is making sure that, and we got to keep in mind of what we do for the classifieds, and then what does the state do for the certified? I mean, do we need to look at both or neither based on what the state does? Definitely, we're in challenging times with inflation going up and, cost of things, and the pay has got to adjust accordingly, not just in this field, but in all fields, to compensate everybody for the changes in society. So definitely would support this, but I'm under the impression that based on the school board, we were advised to hold off until after the state made a decision. They got that. And did I miss something else?
Well, I'm sorry, but you're saying the school board, and I did not speak with the school board. I spoke with Dr. Ellis, the superintendent.
Okay.
It was the superintendent's recommendation that we wait
Okay.
and see what happens with the state budget.
Okay. Thank you.
Other questions or discussion? Commissioner Davis?
As I stated previously, my concern with this motion is going to be, again, that I feel like it puts us in a position where we're entering into the business of the school board and the decisions that they make. We should be allotting funds that this board feels comfortable in allotting, and the school board needs to designate where those funds go. It's not a job of this board to allot funds other than capital projects. And I'm still of the impression that we can't do that, but even if we can, it's not the proper thing to do. And our relationship with the school board is so good at the present time, has been for several years. I'm just hesitant to do anything that would change that relationship that we currently have, and I just think we should not be getting in their business, how they spend their money. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Commissioner Davis. Other comments, questions? Commissioner Arrington?
Okay. Well, back to, one of the original questions is the budget itself, and my concern has been about the level of funding that we are doing for our public education system. And right now, as we slice our expenditure pie up, there's 20% for education, which includes our community college, and also 25% of our expenditure for human services, and public safety is 29.95%. Always thinking that we want to keep our public education funding aligned with our other pieces of pie that make up this county, our expenditures. Before the demerger, mostly what I heard was that we could do more for Nash County students if we didn't have Edgecombe County to try to pull along, that it might put a drag on them if we funded them more. And this year, look like we intend to fund them at the same level that we did last year. They lost schools, but we are not rewarding them for getting out of the low-performing school, the low-performing school era with the various schools that we have. So they've been doing well. And one of the things that I'm in support of supporting our security, the safety resource officers, and also technology that they have got involved with as far as giving the students the equipment, the computers that they need to continue performing well. And yes, we would like to support the classified workers, but at the same time, we need to support the public schools at a higher level so that they can take care within their budget the classified workers and their employees.
Thank you, Commissioner Harrington. Other comments or questions?
Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Wilkins?
Just to clarify, what Commissioner Davis said, we are not telling the school board what to do with the money we give. We can suggest, as you said yourself previously, that's why I quoted North Carolina General Statute, the number 115C-429. We can give them the funding, and they have to do it. That statute says they do it like the statute says and how they're supposed to. But you yourself said they have never varied from the county's suggestion. If we say we want to give this money, so much money for $500 bonus, they don't have to follow it? No. But will they? Probably. And so that's all I'm asking. That's why I said we follow the statute for the 500. My motion's on the floor.
Thank you. Other questions? Comments? I'll just make a brief comment before we vote. I would be supportive of what Superintendent Ellis has recommended, that we wait until we see what the state budget's going to show us. And with that said, I would call for a vote on this matter. I'm going to do it by hand vote because I think it is probably going to be split. So all in favor of the motion made by Commissioner Wilkins, please raise your right hand. Thank you. All opposed to that motion, raise your right hand. Motion fails on a 5-2 vote. Commissioner Wilkins, you want to move to the next item?
And so that was the concern about the bus drivers. Of course, the second motion, I think, was about Castle Azul giving some money to a Wilson County nonprofit that does benefit individuals of Nash County. But a concern was that, one, the permanent place is outside the county, and that, two, they are serving one demographic or ethnic group in the county, or their whole business practice is that. And so that means that the county is by virtue aiding in their mission, I guess, is the position on that. You know, what I will say about the bus driver situation, and I'll say that after I played this video, this section of the video, related to the county manager giving a financial snapshot of what is going on within Nash County. We'll play that, then I'll make the comments as it relates to the bus drivers.
Settlement funds, in particular, our assistant county manager position that was created specifically for us to get our funding plan in place and move that project forward here in Nash County, However, the funding that is being recommended for salaries is for staff that will have direct impact supporting the delivery of services to those affected by the opioid crisis. Service provision does not happen without the intervention of human involvement to realize successful outcomes. This does not happen without providing funding to support positions. The other item that I wanted to address was the $2.5 million that we have asked for a project ordinance in today's meeting, as well as the budget amendment for the $2.5 million. The reasoning behind bringing that to the board today, before we put the project out to bid and have final numbers on that project, is that is the single item that is not in your FY26 budget, nor is it in the bundling package of items that we plan to finance moving forward. That is a $2.5 million item that has not been mentioned as part of this process.
Welcome everyone to the meeting.
We wanted to be fully
We begin our
transparent
meeting
and bring
with
that
an
item to the
invocation
board today
and the Pledge of
to make
Allegiance to
sure
the
that you're
flag.
not.
For the invocation, you're welcome.
Let me see what's going on here with, why is there two things running? Real quick. Right here. Go back to her. She was talking about the opioid money, and then a building that they did 2.5 million on, but she'll get to what the other part.
Finance Director, Nikki Stanton, to
I thought I
provide
canceled
with
that.
some information about where we stand on fund
Where is
balance.
the other one? This one. There we go.
have realized
Okay, here we go.
over $6 million.
Yeah, this is the part I wanted to hear right here.
As part of this process, and so we wanted to be fully transparent and bring that item to the board today to make sure that you're not forgetting that we wish to fund that $2.5 million from fund balance. I have asked our Finance Director, Nikki Stanton, to provide me with some information about where we stand on fund balance. We have realized over $6 million in collections of ad valorem taxes in our FY25 budget that we did not plan for. We've also realized an additional $1.4 million in investment income over what was budgeted, as well as $1.4 million over budgeted for collections from moving from one agreement to our newest agreement with Nash UNC. So in total, when you factor in the $2.5 million that we've asked you to allocate today for the senior center project, when you factor in all of the fund balance appropriations that you visited with Nikki and the budget amendments that we have asked you for today, and looking at fund balance that's being appropriated in this budget at $1.9 million, we have an additional, between those two, between those expenses and those revenues, we still have about $3 million being added back to fund balance. So I want this board to know that even on top of the spending that we're doing, the allocation of fund balance that we have been making, even in today's meeting and in this budget moving forward, we will be adding back to fund balance. And that's all I have, sir.
Okay, before I make my comments, does anybody else have any comments?
So, okay, that was the county manager letting the board know that based on the budget and the projected revenue that's coming in, they're looking at almost a $6 million over budgeted revenue. And even with finding that money and looking at some projects, $2.5 million for a place and some other stuff they got going on, they still look at putting over $3 million back to fund balance. And I'm not sure how many bus drivers and classified employees the Nash County Public School has, but I can assure you a $500 bonus will be nowhere near $3 million. A $500 bonus, a one-time bonus, would be nowhere near $3 million. In fact, it'll probably be under $400,000, I would give or take, and that's probably even pushing that number as well. And I don't understand a superintendent who will say, let's wait and see what the state's going to do. That, to me, too, said from Dr. Ellis, don't make any sense either. Especially if all throughout this year and multiple years you've been hearing and seeing firsthand as a superintendent bus drivers not showing up or whatever it is, protests across the state about their pay and doing multiple jobs and this, that, and the third. And you say, well, they wait this long, we'll let them wait some more. You know, I think if I was a superintendent of a public school system, I would say, hey, if y'all want to give me $300,000, $200,000, whatever it is to give a one-time bonus to my classified staff, sure, bring it on. I think this may be the first time in history that I can recall, at least, hearing of a school system saying, let's wait and see what the state say before you give us some money. Because I don't care if even the state gave them $1,000 bonus. On top of that, the local government can give an additional bonus. It's no different than the extra subsidy that counties provide for supplemental pay for educators. It is no different. And when there's talk or belief that a county cannot give money for a specific purpose, I'm not quite sure that that is true. And I'll only say that because municipalities, cities in North Carolina has statutory opportunities and authorization to fund public schools. And this is for those who take notes in the morning time and go do your further research to fact check me, which I need to be fact checked for sure. General Statute 160A. General Statute 160 deals with public education in the state of North Carolina. And 160A, and I believe it's around 600 and something. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Maybe 6. Looking here. So much stuff. Yep. It's 700. Okay, so 700. So this is what this says. This is Article 30 of that same statute. So this is 168-700. And this deals with municipalities, but we'll just say that. We'll listen to this authority, and I need to find one for counties. But it's a authority. A city may use property tax revenue authorized in a General Statute 168-209C 26B and other unrestricted revenues to supplement funding for elementary, secondary public education that benefits the residents of the city. Cities may direct or restrict the use of funds appropriated for specific purposes, functions, programs, projects, or objects as provided in this section. The purpose. A city may appropriate funds under this section for the following: for a public school located inside the city limits for capital, for current operating expenses, for other specific purposes used, directed by the city, for other specific uses directed by the city. Funds appropriated by cities in accordance with this subsection may be used to enter into operational and finance and leases for real property or mobile classroom units for the use of public schools, for school facilities for public schools, and may be used for payment on loans made to public schools for facility equipment operations. However, municipality appropriations shall not be used to obtain any other interest in real property or mobile classroom units. Every contract or lease in which the public school enters involving municipal appropriations pursuant to this section shall have the following sentence: no indebtedness of any kind occurred on this obligation created by the public school shall constitute an indebtedness or obligation of the city, and no indebtedness or obligation of the public school shall involve or be secured by faith, credit, or taxing power of the city. Then it also says for public schools located outside the city limits on a per pupil basis for students attending the schools who are residents of the city for current operating expense and other specific purposes as directed by the city. Now, again, I need to take time to find the county, but if there's a general statute that says that a city can direct money to a school system, restrict it for a school system for a certain purpose, why is there then this belief, and it could be true though, that there is, that the counties don't have that same authority? And so I need to take time to look at that, but this is my quick search for cities. And that was also to say, hey, cities can't fund schools. So when cities and municipalities across the state say we shouldn't be in the school funding business, we'll say, here's a general statute that says that you can. Then it says it's not my responsibility. Here's a general statute to say you can, and can do it for particular purposes. And so when we know in particular communities in our city that school systems or particular school might need help with an after school program or whatever it may be, a city can help supplement that, or maybe not even supplement, pay the whole thing if they needed to ensure that the quality of life for the residents within a municipal district has the necessary tools, staff, resources, etc., that they need to be successful. Now, in that same vein, a city has to have the readily available funds to do so. And that would be, a situation. Now, when I hear Nash County say, look, we're going to set aside another $3 million back to fund balance, I would say they have availability of funds for their situation. I want to say good morning, though, to Irma Maxwell, James Bullock, Betty Archambault, Peggy Parker Harrison, Gwendolyn Swain, Ray Darcher, who looks like he is enjoying Jamaica, Lucy Boyer, Alice Davis, Melinda Ingram, Jacqueline Leonard Randolph, Deborah Gunter, Allison Williams, Waylene, also Yvonne Hendricks, Commissioner Harris. Good morning. I wish Nash County would show us how to find $3 million. She said it would be $379,000. So there you go. Under $400,000 for that. Again, the next school board meeting, I just should be like, Donnells, why in the world would you tell the Nash County commissioners or the Nash County manager that you want to wait on to see what the state gonna do? I was just dumbfounded by such a public statement being made. Whether even if it was made privately, I'd be dumbfounded by that too. I would care less on what the state's gonna do, because the responsibility is also on the county, which the counties made these big declarations. Oh, if we split these schools, we're going to make money rain down like heaven to improve our conditions of our schools. This, that, and third. The Edgecombe County ain't paying its fair share, so we paying all this extra money. And so if you have been paying all this extra money in operations, then why don't you have it for this? Or is it that the money Edgecombe County was giving you gave you some additional dollars to make it make sense? I'm just asking, because I think that school system in its budget asked for about $7 million in additional revenue from Nash County, if I'm not mistaken. So again, the money followed the child, but here we are with these asks. Candy Stain, good morning to you. So good morning to all of you. Alice Bailey, good morning to you as well. Edgecombe County, I believe, asked for about a $4 million, and Commissioner Viola was tuned in. I think that is correct, but let me just make sure. And I think one of Edgecombe County's, in fact, I think I had Edgecombe County right here. This says, so the union was out there, and let me see if I see the amount of money. Well, here we go. If approved, the budget would increase the supplement for classified staff, including teachers, assistants, cafeteria workers, and custodians, by $1,000. Provide a 11% supplement for certified staff teachers grant bus driver raises ranging from 7% to 14%, allocate $4.4 million towards critical facility repairs. And so Edgecombe County Public Schools, too, is asking for an increase in funding. And I do believe that that supplement would go from like $300 to it would go from $300 to $1,300, if I'm not mistaken. So $1,000 annual difference. And what I will say is, not only are they talking about, you know, in Nash County talking about a one-time bonus, Edgecombe County said, let's give it and keep it for the staff. They're classified workers, again, teacher assistants, cafeteria workers, custodians, bus drivers, and things of that nature would be that. And they say, look, and I told somebody this the other day. It's one of these counties. I don't know if it's Wake County or if it's Vance County. Anyway, it's a North Carolina county. And they have compounded supplements or bonuses for bus drivers. And one of them that I completely appreciate and value is in that particular county, they give a perfect attendance bonus paid monthly to bus drivers. So somebody in their infinite wisdom was smart enough to say, you know what, we're having people not showing up to work. What? And they said, I'm pretty sure there's probably on the board, we shouldn't have to incent them to come to work. Your paycheck is your incentive to go to work. No one goes anywhere and I'm going to be for free today. So when people make stupid and ridiculous comments about we shouldn't have to incent someone to show up, when you make the initial offer for the engagement employment and you say this is what your benefits are, this is what your hourly pay is, what your salary is, all of that is for them to come to work and to provide whatever it is that they're doing, right? However, when in a organization, government organization, fail to live up to that, what they do, people stop showing up, right? Or if they're working condition environments, they stop showing up, they find another job. And so I personally agree with the mechanism in place because we understood that bus drivers not showing up. And so if you incent those individuals a monthly bonus for showing up to work and doing your job, if that's extra $200 a month is gonna help and understand that we appreciate your presence, do that. Versus having all these parents across the state at one time saying, I can't get my child to school. But again, I do think that there is some undercurrent there to ensure that children are not educated because you can control uneducated people. Caller, good morning, on the air.
Good morning, Mr. Bronson.
Good morning.
Are taxes taken away from bonus money?
Are taxes taken away from bonus money? You mean do they use tax money to pay for bonuses?
No.
Gotcha. It should be, yes, income. Yeah, absolutely, it should be.
Okay. So they give them about $300. So what's the big deal?
So that's what I said. And so I told someone, I said, look, if you want to give a $500 bonus, it probably needs to be more like $580 or something of that nature, right? So the amount is a net $500 to the employee.
Yeah.
So that is something to consider too. So don't say, hey, we'll get a school system $500 per person because they won't realize an actual 500. You're going to have to figure out what that number is to try to get them as close to the 500 as possible.
Now, who is the chairman of the commissioners?
Wayne Outlaw.
Okay. Why does Bobby Davis have so much to say?
Oh, because he is a commissioner. He has the same authority that the chairman has. The chairman's responsibility is to conduct and maintain quorum within the meeting.
Okay. He got too much mouth for me. I'd just be glad when he retired. He got like he owned that board. He always got something to say. I'm so sick of him with his juicy mouth. I don't know what in the world to do.
I got you. Now, I watched this meeting yesterday, and I actually told somebody, I actually like the fact that Robbie Davis was asking all these questions to finances. So he went through a litany of different things and said, so that won't happen again, right? So why did this happen? So questioning some of the action that they're taking, because too often on boards, you just see people just rubber stamp a whole bunch of stuff, and then they find themselves in the middle of the ocean drowning and be like, well, I don't know how we got here. Let's find somebody to blame, right? But yet the other county commissioners don't say a thing, and their former chairman Davis will say that then, who will raise questions so that at least the public will have a benefit as to how one got there. But I also hear your point, and I recognize that you say, hey, you're tired of hearing them. But again, there is some value in some of the things that he asked.
Okay, and two other questions this morning. Mm-hmm. You have, I think, approximately 5 individuals who's running for city council for Ward 3. Now, out of the 5, one is you. One is Tim Barnes. Tim Barnes is the one I want to talk about this morning. Why is he such a bully? That's a bully.
I'm trying to figure out in what way.
He talk about people all the time,
okay.
Especially you, and you don't see him doing anything. I read one of his inserts on Facebook, and he said that he's not going to be the type of city councilman that go out to meetings, this, that, one thing and another. If you want to talk to him one-on-one, you can. But he's probably going to say something that hurts your feelings. Who in the world want a city councilman with such a bullying attitude?
Yeah.
And I know he's going to come back at him, but I'm going to snap right back at him, too. But the thing about it is, he carries a gun all the time. So he got that Napoleon syndrome. He a little short man. I'm going to tell you the truth. I just can't take him anymore. In fact, when he first came on scene on WHIG, I was like, who in the heck is this acting like a darn fool? And he's still a fool. And I'm not bullying him. I'm just telling y'all the facts about him. And if anybody that lives in Ward 3 vote for that man, you probably don't have nothing now, but you're going to have nothing continuously. But he is the most hateful, disrespectful individual that I have seen in a long time when it comes out running for public office. I put him in a category with Donald Trump. Just daggone disrespectful. I'm just about sick of him, too. And the third thing I want to talk about this morning, I did watch the parade on Saturday. And to my demise, it was very educational. In fact, I feel that they should play that video for any senior that's getting ready to graduate because they at least have a first-hand opportunity to get a job if they pass the test for those military branches. It was very educational. They started with World War I and went up until the future war. And the things they showed and the explanation of the different branches, which is 6 branches, is amazing. You learn about saluting dignitaries, why the whole squadron sometimes salute them when they pass, and why some squadrons don't. But it's the way they tilt their head to the left and with looking to the left, and the only person that salutes is the head of the squadron, which means that he's representing all of the people. But it was so interesting, and I looked at how they had the the dogs that they had come up with to go into places, and it was nice. Now, the 6 branches, one of them I didn't know, and that's Space Corps, and I can't find anything about Space Corps. What did they do?
Yeah, didn't that come along when President Trump first got into office?
I don't know, but I really couldn't find any information about Space Corps, and I wanted to because I didn't know anything about it. And they didn't even show a symbol for Space Corps. So, I have to do a little bit more research. But I do recommend that the school system put that in their library of videos for seniors to watch because it was very interesting And I believe a lot of young people would join one of the branches. It's nothing like a military person. They learn discipline. And that's something that our youth really need nowadays. But it was very interesting. I didn't look at it for the sake of Trump. I looked at it for the educational purpose, and they did an excellent job with that. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah, I think, so Space Forces was founded in December 20th, 2019. And it is Space Force branch of the United States government. Defense is one of the 6 armed forces of the United States, one of the 8 ununiformed services of the United States. It's also 2 of the independent space forces in the world. And again, it was formed right there in 2019. The United States Space Force tracks its origins to the Air Force, Army, Navy, military space programs created during the beginning of the Cold War. U.S. military space forces first participated in combat operations during the Vietnam War and have participated in every single. Now that's interesting because they say it was founded in 2019, but yet they can try to give us some correlation, I guess, of the function of what it is and all that good stuff. So, provide freedom of operation in the United States President, form in space, conduct space operations, protect interests in the United States in space. Provide freedom and operation in the United States. And so that's Space Forces. But I remember that conversation in 2019 when it happened. Yeah. And so anyway, I didn't realize it was 9 minutes past the 9 o'clock hour this morning. Many of us got to get to work. So, anyway, so to share the information about Nash County County Commissioners meeting, we also talked about Edgecombe County as well as it relates to what they're looking for their schools. And I think Edgecombe County is slated to vote on their budget later this month. Edgecombe County meeting. I don't think the public hearing was the first Monday in June. And I believe at that meeting they would have recessed the meeting to another time for the adoption of the budget. I'm just making sure that that's what because at this agenda there. Yep. So, not sure where they are as of yet with that. And I'm trying to think. I didn't see it. So I don't know if anybody spoke at the Edgecombe County meeting in regards to the budget or not. But anyway, it is time for me to get up out of here. We certainly appreciate each and one of you for tuning in to WNCR-TV now as we continue to talk about things impacting our state, our city, and our nation. Lord, we'll be back with you tomorrow to do it all over again right here on WNCR-TV now. Make it a great and fantastic Tuesday.